Welcome back. WeArEuS, and this is the game where last episode I got shield bashed by someone who raised so many death flags. Her arms should have been too tired to even lift the shield. In case there wasn't enough of a clue, this is the First Berserker. He goes by many names. I think we talked to him last episode, so it's fine. So you may have noticed, as one may or may not, that we are sporting a new look. If you watched last episode, and there is no conceivable reason why you shouldn't have, you will know more or less why. Though to be fair, I did not say ahead of time. I didn't say last episode that I would be changing my armor because of that problem. But I have such a better profile now, and it'll make it a lot harder for any character to just bully me because I can't see them when they attack and use certain animations. It'll be so good. Trust me.
Lord Pavel's final wish was the safety of his people. Even in his final moments, he was thinking of them.
Was he, though? I would imagine he would have been thinking, I wish I had some pizza.
The Knives Vale are still ravaging Pelemian. The people there need our help.
Alright, let's kill them then. Now, you may or may not notice that I am using an entirely different weapon. No, you do not need more coffee. Your eyes deceiveth you not. Anyway. So yeah, I spent a good probably a good hour and a half yesterday after we finished the video changing everything. I even put on some different gear. We're currently using the Formless Warrior Spear that I handcrafted via the blacksmith, and the Deep Shadow Helm, which I did the same with. You'll notice I am running very, very much defense. I'm not a fan of this one because, well, I'm not against it per se. It's unscathed defense but increased by 300. Cool. I currently have an extra 300, right? Yeah, I currently have an extra 300 defense. But the moment I get smacked in the lips, that's going away. I wish that max stamina was instead just raw defense. I don't know if I found out a lot of extra things while I was doing this stuff. So, apparently, you can actually see what stats your armor can roll before you actually start changing it. With the, I'm talking about the random attributes. Apparently, there's a menu where you can see all of the random attributes a piece of equipment can roll before you start rolling. Which is great. Because that's how I found out shoes don't roll defense, no matter what. That makes me sad, but what can you do? So I actually changed this. I changed from the other head armor we were wearing, helmet. That's the proper term. And it was not this. It was, yeah, that's the one. I changed it from this one to the deep shadow helm because I want the guard penetration. I can't really swap anything else out because otherwise I just, don't have the bard set effects that I want, which is the weapon drops. Now, I will admit, that stuff is probably pretty worthless where we currently are in the game, where we can still end up getting... Ah, I see what's going on here. I'm going to put a stop to it. Worship... Worship me. Do you think that meant no? The spell it tried to fling? Do you think it's going to kneel down and supplicate? I didn't think so either. Hey there, buddy. Oh, right. I forgot to do that other thing. It melted. So, this is currently what we are running. I am trying to... This is kind of awkward because... Oh, that'll do it. So, this is what we're currently running. We've got a little bit of moonlight because that's the cornerstone of using the spear. You don't have moonlight, you should be using something else. And then I have most of the moonlight stance stuff aside from full moon. And as an aside, I do want to increase this to level 3 so we can get the higher stamina damage from the after image. Then we have 0 point, which is just a follow-up combo after a heavy attack. I think it also says after a vital strike, but I don't know what that's supposed to be. And I don't really care. Mainly, we're using this to follow up from the heavy attack into a quick series of normal attacks that we can either finish with the last hit of the light attack chain, which results in activating Moonlight, or we can go into Assault by pressing heavy again. Assault is basically mandatory. This is your piece de resistance, you could say. This and Moonlight, you have to have if you're using a spear. Unless you're doing some goofy goddamn gimmick run. You want this in Moonlight. The faster you can chew away at the enemy's stamina or stance, the better. And this helps with that. Very well. And even more in combination with something else I have that you'll see later on. We also have Glide, which allows us to put distance between ourselves and the target we use Assault on, because I'm not a fan of sitting there in front of an enemy who can't actually be staggered by Assault. Especially if it hasn't broken their stance or left them exhausted. Then we have Ambush, which just allows it to deal significantly more stamina damage when you hit an enemy with it from behind. And we'll go more into why I have this later on. We also have Descent, which allows us to just get extra damage in when the enemy is exhausted. When they are, it basically lets us get a free hit while pausing their exhaustion. So we're not punished. Not much. So for the entire duration of that animation you see there, their exhaustion meter is paused, which means I get to have that maybe second and a half to think of how I'm going to follow up, how I'm going to follow up after this is over. Then we have trance. Now, I am on the fence about trance because it is a skill that can only be used after other things. Then I acquired something which sort of resolved that conundrum for me, but only slightly. It still has to be used as a follow-up to something else, but basically it's a dash skill that deals some damage. Damage itself doesn't entirely matter. The reason why I have this is because Trance Spirit allows you to gradually recover half of the spirit charge used when you activate it. So you're basically getting half off on a damage skill. This can apparently be used after itself, but you don't get recovery for that. It also, in addition to recovering the spirit, half of the spirit charge used to activate this skill, it then also grants you an effect where you recover half of the spirit consumed for the spirit skill that you use after it. Now, I don't particularly care for this skill, but the fact that it lets me refund half of the cost of whatever I use after it, that ain't not bad. Now, then we have Resolve, which allows me to basically, it increases the damage of the following spirit skill, which is just, I actually need to keep that in mind now that I think about it. Ooh, and Trance does make for a good gap closer, so it'll really help for when I have an enemy exhausted and they're out of range for assault. And especially for those who have a very small exhaustion window. So I can use Trance to get into range, and then we'll follow up with Spiral Thrust because we can charge it and it deals greater damage when used on an enemy that's exhausted. It can also be used to deal higher damage on an enemy that's just suffered a brutal attack, which is what you use on someone when they are exhausted. So I can use this to punish someone that's exhausted, then use Trance, then brutal attack, then use Spiral Thrust again. I have to keep that in mind, though. And of course, I can't just have this combo. How do I put it? This isn't a combo I can just do every single time and it'll work. I have to play it by ear. If it looks like I'm not going to be able to get, let's say, the follow-up is probably if I use it in time when they get exhausted. No, we have to start with the Trance. We have to start with Trance first in order to get the extra damage for it. That's going to be awkward. So we have to use Trance for the extra damage and the refund into Spiral Thrust, Brutal Attack, Trance, Spiral Thrust again, because I want the refund, of course. But then we have to play it by ear. If it doesn't look like I can get that final spiral thrust off, then we have to cut out the trance, and we're just going to lose 2 spirit charges instead of just 1, which is actually really good. That was one of my very few issues with the dual weapons and the skill setup I had with that, where the skills were really good, but they were expensive, and there was basically nothing you could do to mitigate that aside from just do damage, which it excelled at. Anyway, now, what brings trance all together for me, though, is liberation. Now, this is weird. The skill info they provide is weird because it says you use it after skills that don't consume spirit. That doesn't mean anything. See, what they mean to say is gain the ability to use trance after any attack. Frick, you might be able to use it after a dodge. I don't know. I haven't tried. It deals decreased damage, of course, but that's entirely irrelevant. It's a setup skill. Especially once you've got liberation. Now that you're aware of liberation and what it does, remember the entire combo I was talking about for enemies that are exhausted. That's only really of value. Of course, it's only going to be really of value against bosses. And even then, it depends on how long their exhaustion lasts. So, liberation really opens that combo up. Which is the only real reason that, 1, the combo exists, and 2, we have trance. Because otherwise, I would have gone with Phantom Heatwave. Because having a guaranteed block against you have no idea what's coming, but it can't hurt you now. You can't hate that. I'm actually kind of upset I can't use this, but not by much, since, I have other options for doing what that does. Now, remember when I was talking about assault and how it does more damage when you hit the enemy from the back? Well, Shadow Strike is what's going to make that actually viable. Otherwise, having that extra skill, the one that makes it do more damage on enemies from behind, completely pointless. But with Shadow Strike, Shadow Strike is interesting. Now, at base, garbage, completely worthless. I would have ignored its existence if not for Shadow Strike relics. It basically nullifies damage from the enemy, assuming you get the timing right, which isn't too hard. Then it puts you behind them. Do I really need to say more? I got this too, but oh yeah, this also gives you an extra damage buff, which is great. Basically, if you use it to nullify an attack successfully, you gain increased damage and duration on all buffs acquired while using a spear. So, Moonlight, the buff from Trance. Do we have any other buffs? No. Oh, there's also the one where dodging immediately after using Assault Glide to kick yourself away from the enemy. the next dodge after that doesn't consume stamina, but you have to use it immediately. Like, immediately. So, it's... I don't know if that particular thing is affected by it, but all of the stuff you get from Moonlight as well is... What other stuff do I actually get? Activating a brink dodge counts as an attack along the path of the dodge. I forgot about that, actually. Increase the duration of the Moonlight Steps invincibility, which is... I got this because I just know I'm going to miss the extended invincibility frames from the skills that I had with the dual wield. So, that should bring us back up to that point. Though, of course, it costs me all sorts of other stuff that I'd probably really like to have, like decreasing the stamina cost of guarding, this, since I'm probably occasionally going to have to guard things. Yeah, Shadow Strike does... If you follow up... No, you can't really use... I was thinking about if you could use Shadow Strike to actually counter... Hold on, can I actually get up there, or did I goof it? No, I think I can. I was thinking of using Trance before Shadow Strike, but you only get refunded half of the cost, so... Wait, if I do that, I lose my extra defense. But there's an item. Special cleanse potion. Hold on. Hallucination cleanse. Apparently, you can inflict hallucination, chaos, and I think plague. And I have no idea how, but I would assume you would need an armor set up to a certain point and then you're just granted it by accomplishing something like dodging or guarding. Removes all attribute effects. So I'm assuming this is the ones that are inflicted on you, not the ones you have. Oh, right. Apparently, the axe throw skill for the dual wield was really good at applying attribute effects. And I did not think about that. It stands to reason in hindsight, because it's literally sitting there in them doing damage. Now, it would have been worthless against Elamane, because, you know, unless she's attacking, nothing's going to do damage to her. And in fact, as you would have seen, the spinning axe itself would have just charged her shield, which was a very, very annoying up to a point. I mean, it's not like the charging shield actually was that much of a benefit for her once I really knew the fight, but her having it charged ended up making her more of a threat, which just ended up being...
Why do you continue to get involved with such trivial matters?
Pavel saved Tristan.
I like not being
We owe
bored.
it to him to save his people.
I guess that's a reason, too. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also have a skill that lets me dodge twice in a row. While I have Moonlight, of course. I'd show it off now, but I don't have Moonlight. There is an elite here. I'm assuming it's you, buddy? I thought about the combo, but I only remembered a piece of it, so I figured the brutal attack's going to kill him anyway. No need to do any hard thinking right now, right? So I didn't. I mean, that guy was as good a warm-up as any. Gotta watch out for traps, of course. Admiral Akbar being my spirit animal. Sounds like it's... Hey guys! You know the way to Pizza Hut? I actually... have a hankering for this stuff right now.
Is that Rankus? No, wait. It's his twin, Brinkus. Is he here for revenge?
For that terrible name? Probably. Lord knows I would be. It's in here. Assassin's Tome of Crafting Assassin's Elixirs has been unlocked. The frick is... Is that all of them? Yeah. I've gotten enough jarlings to start getting a decent number of jars from the guy that sells them, who I actually forgot existed until I did some running around yesterday. Turn your buddy to red mist. That's frustrating, isn't it? Okay. Missed. That's upsetting. I'm coming to kick your face in. Ow. I'm up. So, I'm not playing, you may have noticed I haven't used any spirit charges yet. I'm not playing stingy intentionally. It's just, I do so much more damage with the spear than I ever did with the normal attacks for the dual wield weapons, that I just do not feel inclined to actually use skills. I'm doing like 1,000 damage per hit. I have to remember to keep an eye out for traps. Mercenary's ring and the necklace of the nameless. Oh right, I also have this set going. The necklace of the blood moon and the strategist's ring. You'll notice I've got defense on the ring, of course, and all the best stuff I could possibly get on the necklace. In addition, I just take 50%. I don't know how this actually works. It is not clearly named. But whatever it does, it's more useful than taking damage. Taking 100% damage all the time. You know, I looked at the stats. I looked at the scaling for the spears, the heavy sword, and the dual wield. I have better stats for the heavy sword than I do for the spear or the dual wield. Second best being the spear, the worst being the dual wield. Which is upsetting. I have a combined 60 points of stats for this weapon in terms of scaling. I don't know how that actually applies to the weapon. I have 60, the attack is 42, 242, 60, that's 302, and then I'm getting an extra 19. So I guess that's just how that works. So it's literally just adding the scaling into the attack and whatever random attributes you have. Which is fine. It's clear, I understand it. It's not like your scaling applies a percentage of a percentage buff to the attack in some obscure way that you'd have to do actual real math to understand. This is much more clear, and I like that. I'm talking about you, Lies of P. I don't know if Lies of P works the same way. I didn't bother to stop and smell the roses, more or less. Why is this... Oh, this is level 81, and these are level 72. Good lord, its attack is just so much worse. Whatever. You think he's going to miss his head? Because I sure won't. Oh. Okay. There's probably another dog to the left here where he was, but on the off chance that I'm correct that that's just not the case. Hot dogs, anyone? I don't. That doesn't mean anything. Furious Bandits. The Furious Bandits said, I don't know what any of that stuff looks like, so I might have... No, odds are I don't have anything from the Furious Bandits set. I do have Shredder's helm, though. I should probably tell... I don't know if I already made that joke or not. I imagine I would have. But the joke involved the Ninja Turtles, in case you're curious. So far, I've found one of the 2 soul stones, and There is... Oh. Yeah. So... No dog.
I'll kill you for what you did to Rankus!
You sure about that? Ow. Really? Careful. 3 and 4. God dang it. I notice he's looking at me again, even though I did that perfectly. I can wait. I don't remember ever killing anyone named Rankus. That's a terrible name, and I would remember it. Are we sure he was an elite? There was... I could have sworn there was another path I could have taken. And there was, remember the, but is he alone? I would wager not. Yeah, he's an archer, 2 dogs. The archer would be the bigger annoyance. Remember? I meant right, not remember. I thought I killed him, and then I realized I didn't see the death animation. That's the last heal. So what sort of nonsense? No, we definitely didn't. Right? I swear there was another elite. Supposed elite. I mean, they died real good, but that's probably because the spear is just way stronger than the dual wield. Despite everything that I could do with the dual wield, the damage between any cycle of combinations of normal, heavy, and skill attacks just never felt that strong. And that's the only way into this particular area, so that's definitely where we came from. Just want to make sure I don't miss anyone. It'd be a shame to leave someone alive and alone. After all his buddies died, oh, that'd be so terrible. Oh, that wasn't for the door. Got it. And we're not going up. Okay. You know, I wanted his armor to have some color to it. So I don't have anything that has any other color. Aside from the Chaos armor? I don't remember what that armor's called. Do I even have it still? I considered this for a bit, but I'm not a fan of armor with hard nipples. So these are new, so I didn't have these to add as a cosmetic option. Yeah, I don't have the other armor, which is fine. Alright. Probably should have checked before I ran up to this, but...
Tristan, please, protect my people.
Fine. I'm here anyway, so I might as well. Hopefully I remember the combo I was talking about earlier. Hey there!
I'll kill you for what you did to my brother.
By the way, the spear has a skill that lets you actually destroy projectiles. Never could I have foreseen that this guy would be the next idiot I fight. Okay, I tried to dodge, I just lost 1,200 health instead. I disagree with that. Ouch. I just... What am I supposed to do? I ran out of stamina trying to avoid that nonsense. And that really is nonsense. Not only is it a close range threat, it's a ranged threat too. though it's much more sporadic, so... saw it coming, and I had two options. Try to dodge to break the heal animation, or try to interrupt it with a skill. I tried to heal, but since I'm full health, it won't let me. It's fine. I don't remember what button combo trance is on. Now, yes, I could have brink guarded that. The animation was obvious for the final hit. Everything else, I was justified in spending all of my stamina dodging. I mean, I have Moonlight. Dang it. Like I said, I forgot what button trance is on. I'm still in the figuring out process of, okay, I just took that damage to the face for no reason. I saw it coming. It was obvious, but when I hit the button, I guess I was still in all of it. Wait, before we continue, this should be on right trigger square. I mean, not square. Right trigger left button, which is X. It shows X, but I'm using a what is basically a bootleg PlayStation controller bought off of Amazon. So this is square/X. I hit the button to follow up the spiral thrust that I did on him last time with the trance to then go into another spiral thrust, but trance never went off. That's great. Ouch. And somehow never got moonlight. I did everything wrong there. Wasted spirit charges unnecessarily, didn't even get good damage out of it. I know the combos that need to be done, for the most part. The normal attack stuff I am still trying to figure out. I know I need to dodge that. Okay. I guess we just don't get anything, huh? In case you're wondering, I missed the command. God dang it. I hit the dodge button as soon as he lowered the gun. But the dodge didn't... The entire animation that I was looking for that final one, I just needed to get past that final one, and it should have interrupted his attack. All I needed was to wait for him to lower the gun. Cocked it, lowered, I dashed. I got hit, but I didn't dash. Maybe I didn't have stamina? That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. What's with this mix-up? I am really annoyed by getting hit by that. Okay. Imagine my consternation at watching a grown man laden with metal armor, foot raised in the air, follow me like he has aimbot as I go left and it is the most frustrating thing. Okay. I disagree with that. What? That came out. That's kind of frustrating. I don't have moonlight. Oh, no. I am trapped in the corner inside of his model. For a split second there, I was going to say I did everything right and then that happened, but no, the fact of the matter is I goofed a number of times. He got hits where he really shouldn't have. For example, this opening attack right here. Great. Didn't even get moonlight. I can only dodge so much. It's not like I didn't have an option, though. I just didn't want to use the goddamn spirit charge for it. Okay. Okay. God, I was trying to do so much in that little window. And there was only one thing I needed to do, and that was use my skill to parry it. It was easy, it was obvious, and it would have been extremely effective. The guy puts himself badly out of stamina really frequently, which I like. I can appreciate that. I didn't hit the button, Frank. I mistimed the skill to parry it. Or it doesn't work on... It should work. So I mistimed it. I really do hate how if you're just attacking them, their stamina regen outdoes any stamina damage you can do to them outside of just emptying their bar instantly. Which, as far as I'm aware of, there's just nothing that does that. So, the other option we have is... How many of them do we even have? Our other option is a lightning enhancer. We could go with water to slow the guy's animations down, but I really don't think that's necessary. I would like to put this on, though. I think we have all right status applications, but nowhere near as good as the dual wield. Ooh, Earth Enhancer. I actually might try this out. It inflicts heavy and, well, if they were vulnerable to it, it would inflict Petrify, presuming they could survive the amount of damage I output. I'm talking about normal enemies. For bosses like him, I'm probably just going to get bonus damage out of it. I just don't see any value in poison, though. Really care about throwables either. Well, it would help with applying status. But I don't even have any of that stuff. That sucks. Fire resistance. I don't know how long that even lasts. But go ahead and crack that open. Uh-oh. Really? Dang it. Ouch. Really? That actually... That's kind of upsetting. I know I wasn't full health, but I also, the issue there was I was banking on being able to actually, I hit the wrong button. It did not register in time, so I couldn't even press the button. God, I'm trying to keep track of all of these combos that I need to be doing. Really? Dang it, that actually got me. Really? I can't do anything there, huh? I think that hit me twice. That hit me twice. I could have sworn I saw 2 damage numbers pop up. I also should not have let the Phantom mode end right in front of the guy. That was sloppy. And yes, if I were using the dual wheels, we'd be home by now and off on to the next. That's a terrible way to say that. Okay. I missed the button. Really? That is disgusting. The fact that he has a response, that is utterly disgusting. Oh, at least our spirit charges are almost full. Fire resist. Down here. You. Okay. Okay. do it. Good Lord. It came out way slower than I thought it would. You know, all of those stats I put into... all of the stats I put into doing stamina damage, and I get... I hit the trigger instead of the shoulder button for the skill that parries or nullifies. Oops. Looks like I wasted an earth enhancer too. Let's start with... not that. This and... no, I already have it. That. I'm pressing dodge. I have nothing in the tank. Okay. Are you actually kidding me? That is actual nonsense. I dodged everything, outran him, and then, and only as the shadow, phantom mode, and only as phantom mode actually canceled, and I was trapped in space, in place, that's the word I was looking for, in place, for not even a full second, just half a second. That is frustrating. And yes, I'm aware I have another heal. Okay. I dodged. I pressed the dodge button, but he didn't dodge. Now that I think about it, it might actually be my controller. What the actual frick? Everyone say thank you, GeForce Now, for what it just did to me. Would I have died anyway eventually? Probably. Maybe not, since I've pretty much got this guy's number. That is extremely annoying. I wasted a goddamn earth charge on that. I pressed the wrong button. Did it again. Because it makes sense to me to have the skill to parry on the trigger button. I don't need to say button, on the trigger. Trigger button's alright. And then I realize it's not there before I press that button combination. My brain fritzes out a little because it's annoyed that it's not there when it makes sense for it to be. There's nothing else on that. There's nothing else on that button. I missed the timing. I missed the timing. We're actually going backwards in terms of progress. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. I got hit by that. Okay. I deserved it. Yes, I know. I know. You're frustrated because we had that one. If I simply didn't do that, or if I healed up. Okay. That second barrage came out way later than I thought. So I ended up dodging into it rather than past it. I was expecting him to use the faster barrage. Okay. Okay. I pressed the dodge button. What is going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand what happened there at the end. I saw the attack coming. I should have dodged. Ah. Okay. I really wish that put me through him. Ooh! Last second. I barely registered it. You don't get to run for me. Just activating Moonlight. Okay. We're behind him. There we go. Heal up. No. I was terrified. I was terrified about that one.
Rest easy now, Pavel.
The animation for that one is a lot harder to read when you are sitting in the center of it. Good Lord. I would have died there. I am almost certain. Holy crap, that was not supposed to take as long as it did. I've also gone the wrong way. Wait, we're in the wrong place. Well, no, hold on. Wait, crap. Oh well. Wanted to buy more stuff from the guy, but...
Oh, look at that.
This is where we are now. Not this. Craft sets. Furious Bandit. Brink Dodge gives you more stamina damage. I love that for us. Charged attack, but it's also a dual wield set. Dual wield armor set, so... Oh, speaking of armor sets, I was looking at... Which one is it? One of the ones that has... No. I really don't have a single set for the spear. I really don't. I would like the 4-piece for this, but I end up wearing the bandit set because... I mean, not the bandit set, the bard set, because... What if there's stuff that drops only if you have a high enough... Well, only if the odds are in your favor, is my line of thought. It's entirely possible that's not the case, and whatever drops is what you're guaranteed to get. But part of me is always going to wonder, could I have gotten something more? Also, at the end of last episode, I had over 100,000 lacrima, and I spent it all re-rolling my stats so I could get more defense, so I can stop getting blown the frick up with one single hit going into a boss fight. Granted, I should be dodging that hit anyway, because I know it's coming. After the first time it happens, I shouldn't be getting hit by it anymore. There's just nothing more to be said about that. But the set I'm looking for to show off is... Yeah, it's the Soul Eater set. So I'm looking at this set, and I would really, really love to get the blueprint for this. Because I discovered this, like I said, I discovered a bunch of other stuff yesterday while I was messing around. And as you can see at the very bottom, Phantom Judgment, you gain that with the 6-piece effect from Soul Eater. Phantom Judgment resets the duration of the enemy's exhaustion. Which basically means if we were to use it with the spear, and I have the full set by the way, if we were to use it with the spear, I could trance into spiral thrust into, I don't know if we would have, it would depend on where we start. If they're too low, if their exhaustion is too low, I would probably just start with the spiral thrust, go into Phantom Judgment, trance, spiral thrust, probably trance, brutal attack, spiral thrust. But if we have enough time, trance, spiral thrust, trance, brutal attack. No, not brutal attack. Trance, spiral attack, Phantom Judgment, Trance, Spiral Attack. Brutal Attack, Trance, Spiral Attack. As you saw with that guy, we got his health down to a quarter very quickly into the fight. And once he's exhausted, which isn't that hard considering just how much stamina damage we were doing to him, we could easily do, if even from in front of him, I think we were doing 20% of his stamina. And considering his attacks consumed so much of it for free, getting him exhausted was easy. Hopefully, it's like that for other bosses, or, well, human bosses. The non-human ones, for whatever weird reason, don't have stamina, even though fodder tier enemies do, right? I don't remember now, because I'm pretty sure non-human enemies that aren't bosses have stamina. But for some reason, non-human bosses don't. Real weird. But anyway, again, it's like, I would run a full armor set, especially the Soul Eater set, considering I'd probably be as squishy with that, considering most of it is really underleveled blues. And then the weapon is perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure, right? So, yeah, there it is. I picked this up yesterday from something out of the Codex. Oh, speaking of the Codex, there was... Dragonkin. It's not undead. Yeah, this thing. From the place we were at last episode, the lab, where the woman who raised all the death flags died. This guy that jumps out of one of the test tanks, or the experiment, I don't know what you want to call those, but he jumps out of a tank, and in order to get what he drops as a training reward here, you have to defeat him without taking damage. I failed twice. Got it on the third one once I figured out the timing for my... I don't even actually remember the name of that skill that I used to nullify attacks. If it parried, that would be a different thing entirely. But it nullifies them, so it doesn't do stamina damage. Oh, the shame of it. Anyway, I have the fossilized WeArEuS, but for some weird reason, I can't craft the weapon they're used to craft. It's not like it was difficult to get it. Oh, we got 2 skill points? We were at about this before we started the level, right? I'm pretty sure. Because I was showing the stuff off and I remember glancing up at it and we were level 37. I think it was just a little lower than where the XP bar was, a little lower than where it is now. So what do we get? I would not mind decreasing the cost of stamina. Decreasing the cost of stamina use while dodging. Nope, that's not the way that's said. Decreasing the cost of stamina when dodging. Okay, so here's the one I was talking about that could have been really useful in that fight on occasion. Eagle Wind. It does 3 swipes of the spear. That's not relevant. That's whatever. This part is where things get interesting. It launches shockwaves. And then the final tier, the shockwaves are able to block projectiles. Now, I don't know how useful that would actually be against him, considering he's shot multiple of them multiple times. But they all look to be about fired at the same exact time, so they would all land at the same time. So Storm here should be able to block all of them. I just don't care to really use this for such a niche use, for such a niche case. Now, if I come across a true boss that actually uses projectiles, or at least ones that, frankly, I should probably just get this just to deal with enemies that use projectiles, huh? But that's 3, and I don't want to use points on this. It's got no other actual value. Okay, it does have other value, because apparently you gain additional effects based on what status effect damage you have applied to your weapon. And like I said, you can apparently have Chaos, Plague, or Hallucination added to your weapon, which I assume is through set effects. Because I have yet to see an actual item drop that allows you to apply this to your weapon. So it has to be a set effect. And Chaos, Plague, and Hallucination damage grant you increased damage and stamina damage. There's nothing to hate there. Anyway, I was going to go on to the next level and just, bully some people for a little bit and then end the video there. But I've used up my monthly allotment of data. We'll go with that word. And Xfinity is trash, so they charge, I don't remember if it's $5 for 5 gigs over, or if it's 10 for 5 gigs over. But I'm being charged, so enjoy. Once I'm in a better spot in terms of savings, I'll get unlimited, and then we won't have to worry about this, and I'll just be able to play this on max streaming settings, and it'll be marginally better visual wise. Here it's pretty low. It's not at the settings I usually have it at because of what I said earlier. But once things get taken care of, the games will look a lot better, except for stuff that's not on GeForce now, such as Lies of P, which I'm going to be getting the DLC for hopefully next week, by the end of next week. Lies of P, for obviously stupid reasons, is not on GeForce now. Because I'm pretty sure Lies of P isn't it made by Korean developers? Whatever the case, Asian developers seem to be pretty retarded when it comes to GeForce now, so they don't have their games on it. I'm not sure if the fault lies with GeForce Now and the way they present it to them, or if it's just because in general Asian developers seem to be mildly retarded when it comes to PC games. Japan in particular. Korea probably less. So like I said, I don't remember if Lies of P's developers are Korean or Japanese. I'm leaning towards Korean. I don't remember why, but there was something. Anyway, I've said a lot. I'm parched, and I've got quite a bit of stuff to do before nightfall. So, with all that said, we will see you next time.